Welcome to the Problem Properties podcast. I am your host, Kathryn Vere, and every week we delve into the problems that properties have that are slightly less visible than the ordinary. So here we investigate any psychic activity that might be going on, emotional imprints from previous occupants, or it might be you have a property that cannot sell, or love, nor money. Whatever your problem is with your property, we look into and explore on the more invisible levels exactly what is going on and find out the logical causes and then shift them for you. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Problem Properties podcast. I am your host, Kathryn Vere, and today I'm going to take you behind the scenes to a massive clearing that I did on a property and land in Abruzzo last week. I'm going to introduce you to my guest client, Liz Carney, who very kindly allowed us to share some of the footage from her extensive house and land clearing. It took us about 4 hours, so I have priced it down to about 45 minutes, but I hope that this gives you some of the scope and the depth of the layers that we encountered and cleared for her. So I'm going to introduce you now to Liz. Liz, tell me, why on earth did you choose to have a house clearing?
Because I have a sense that something is holding me back. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Even though my desire and knowledge and everything is there to do this work that I know that I'm here to do, and I have the time and space to do it, I cannot get in the right zone and actually get on with it. I've always got a list of things that I know I need to do, and yet it's almost like something's going, no, you're not doing that just yet. And all these technical obstacles get put in the way. And I'm just thinking, this is ridiculous. It's been one silly technical issue after another with no logical reason. And they've all taken time to resolve. I've been exhausted. I've had this unexplainable fatigue for some time, and my eyes keep going blurry, the blood pressure going up and down. And I thought, it's my heart racing? So I checked my heart rate, that's fine. Checked my blood pressure, it was generally okay. No logical reason to be having any kind of breathing issue or. I mean, it's not like I can't breathe. I just can't really explain it. And recently, in the last week, this issue here with breathing and heaviness on my chest. And I'm thinking, shit, what is going on here? I feel like something's restricting me. And it was like talking to you, and I'm like, maybe it is the house. It called me here, and now it's almost sucking me in and it won't let me express myself because it wants something from me before it will allow me to be free, if you like. There are spirits here, unhappy spirits. There's sad energies here from things that have gone on in the past. Sadness, neglect. Sadness is the overriding main emotion. And there's this fear here as well that I think goes back a long way. I expect people were displaced from here when soldiers took over. Lots of confusion. But I think sadness is the main thing.
Secrets was another thing you said.
Oh, yeah, secrets. This room definitely says secrets. So there's no logical reason for why some of these things are going on.
Oh, yes, there is.
Yes, well, yeah, I know.
Oh, yes, there is.
Oh, I know. And that message I got this morning, honestly, it made me cry. I literally felt the angel wings coming around me. I've never felt it like that. So powerful. Yeah, like the springboard, the kickoff point for the next 30 years. And that everything that I've been waiting for, dreaming of, waiting, attempting to make happen, like the love, the relationship, the money, the abundance, getting the house finished, something, all the blocks to that will be cleared. And today is the springboard for all that. And it's all going to be fine. It's going to be the best.
Fantastic.
And I'm ready, and it's time. And they've got me. They're supporting me and holding me, and I've never felt it so strongly as this morning.
Amazing. Amazing. So what have you done yourself in terms of clearing the place?
Not a lot, because it didn't really hit me until recently. You started talking about it, that this is what was going on. I did the whole thing with the sage and all the windows open and went through every room of the house, and I've done that a few times. But I haven't been aware of some of these things, but I haven't really taken proper notice of them to think I need to do something about it.
So can you identify what it was that suddenly the penny dropped and you thought, I need to get this place investigated?
Listening to David, hearing about Valerie, and I'm like, I realize how I've been so stuck. As much as I'm attempting to move things forward, it's like I'm pushing against an invisible barrier. And I'm like, what the heck is it? Because it shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be the case. And that is when I just thought, yeah, she's right. Maybe the house is affecting me as much as I love this house. I absolutely love it. And yet, as I said to you, it's like it's sucking me in. It wants to take me over, but also it wants to not let me out somehow. It was the sudden realization that what you have discovered, and obviously we have that connection, we've known each other, and I'm like, if anybody can do this, Kathryn can. If anybody can sort it out, then it's you. And I know most people wouldn't understand. Most people would think I'm a complete lunatic to be thinking these things, to be feeling these things.
So since you've reached out to me to do this, what have you noticed happening within you and in your relationship with the house?
It's talking to me more. I'm feeling more. It's like, right now she's finally listening. So I'm getting more of a sense of things. I've been noticing every weirdy ache and pain and strange things going on. I mean, the blood pressure's one, this breathing and heaviness is another, odd aches and pains. Like I sit in this room and I actually leave this room and I've got a backache. I had this issue with my knee, which literally came out of nowhere. I didn't do anything, but it was like, I've got a knee injury. What actually happened? Because it's gone. Just as it came, now it's gone. As we've been getting closer, there's this heaviness and almost a bit like when I stand up, I feel like, oh my God, I'm out of breath, like if I go up the stairs. And there's odd things like that. But the house is responding a little bit more and it's telling me more. That's all.
That's all. I love
Well,
it. That's
that's
quite a lot.
there's quite a lot, yeah, but it's not telling me as much as it probably would tell you, or that you would pick up. But each day I'm feeling different things, which perhaps I didn't pick up on before.
Sure. Sure. Brilliant. And so, is there anything else that you want to tell me before we begin?
It's just struck me that it might be significant. The war is very significant here. And Michael Ursini, who was the guy that owned the house and renovated it, he was a small boy here during the war. So this is where I think the secrets come. There's something that I suspect he took to his grave, but it impacted him for his whole life. And that literally has just popped into my head.
So it's like we don't realize, because no one really talks about it, how the impact of different environments and the past and what's in the air, what's in the walls and the ground and the neighbors, what kind of things have gone on. There are so many levels and layers. And because they're invisible, all we can do is suffer them, really, or feel we get impacted by them in our behavior, our feelings, our thoughts. I've had situations where people have said what this earthbound spirit is feeling or thinking, and the person's like, shit, that's exactly what I've been feeling and thinking. So how much can you have your own thoughts and feelings if you're in an environment with earthbound souls that are desperate to get your attention and they're trying to live off you or wake you up or something like that? How can you be free to live your purpose? Very, very few people actually pay attention to the environment because we think, oh, walls are just inanimate. What could they do? And yet they're picking up on everything, all these layers, and all that you've been doing there for the last 4 years. Your thoughts, so you've been affected by it, but then your frustration, your regret, your feelings of why can't I move forward? You're also been layering those onto the walls, right?
Yeah, and the progress has been much slower than it should have been in terms of the renovation.
Yeah.
And also frustration level, because I just feel like I'm actually in this impasse right now. There's the next set of things that I need doing, and I'm trying to get the builder to. I only want him to do a few little things, which clears so much for me. At the moment, he won't come.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Buckle up, babe, because the first thing's happening now. Right, so we've got this German army marching up the hill, and there's this huge fear now in the houses of people looking down, seeing them coming up. There's an inhuman element about this. It's so patterned. It's like the beat of the boots that they're all focusing on because they're not even thinking about how tired they are. And they're so beyond anything like that. It's just completely robotic, automatic, march, 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 march. There's no feeling. They're absolutely beyond anything kind of human. It really is actually really evil. It's like a death march that's happening because they're all emotionally dead. And that's the only place that they can be in order to follow orders. What happened next was we cleared this army of invading soldiers that was coming up the hill towards her village. And then we cleared the fear that was still being held in resonance and echoes in the houses and the people who are still living in all those emotional imprints from their forebears who were there when that German army was walking up the hill. So we cleared all of that. And once we'd done that, we opened ourselves to see what was the next thing that needed to be seen and cleared. And it was a young woman. It's interesting. When I said "you're," it was like the house said to me, "Not yet. It's not hers yet." Oh. That's really interesting. That's really, really interesting. I can see this is where there's sort of clinging on going on. You've got a lot of clingers on here who are really not wanting to let it be yours. Does that make sense to you?
That actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I'm actually seeing her in spirit literally clinging on to the side of the house. Now, where she's clinging on is on the right of your front door. She's now putting her arms around the whole house. I'm just going to talk to her. Hold on. Right, so this being is in a lot of pain. What she's saying to me is, this is all I have left, so you can't have it. Everything else has been taken away from me, and this is mine. She looked after her parents and everything else, but the house was left to her brother, and he kicked her out. She was then left with nothing. I can see her sort of living in a hovel, really. She felt that because of everything she'd done, it was just so unfair because it was the boy that got the house. Very, very sad, Liz. Very, very sad. In a lot of pain. She's showing me her head. She's saying she had a lot of headaches. And she's saying, if I let this go, I have nothing. She's turned around and she's looking at me now. So we see you, and we are here to listen to your story. And I'm so sorry that this very unfair thing happened to you after all that you gave and served here. We see your sacrifices. We see how much you've given, how much you've cared, and how little you were cared for. And I want you to know that you're seen. Everything you did has been recorded. It's all been seen. It's all been known. And actually, she's very devotional, Liz. I can see. So I'm going to have to talk to her in that language. God has seen everything that you've given. He's heard all your prayers, your faithfulness, and your devotion. And I want you to know that when you're ready, you can feel free to pass on, and we can ask Mother Mary to come and be with you. Oh, she'd love that. Okay, so I'm going to call on Mother Mary to come and be with you. Oh, she's holding her hand. That's really, really beautiful. I want you to meet Liz. Liz is the person who is taking on this home as a place of love and service and devotion. And I want you to let go of it and allow Liz to take this on. It's time. You are in spirit now. You don't have a body anymore. And there's work that you can do in spirit with Mother Mary here. Now she's breathing a sigh of relief. That's good. Just want you to let that go. Let all of this go. Let this lifetime go. Pass that pain on to Mother Mary here. She can take it. It's very lovely. Mother Mary's embracing her. She's going to take her away. I just want you to know that there's a beautiful life that's waiting for you in spirit. I'm sorry you had to wait so long. They're just going up the hill and off, up, whoa, very gently. If you have a look at that wall on the right side of the door now, what does that feel like there?
For some reason, it's suddenly like a little cleaner.
Looks a little cleaner.
That's the only word that comes.
Mhm.
Little cleaner.
Mm. Where do you feel guided to go? Let's just ask the house. House, I want you to show Liz where she needs to stand.
To the top.
Go to the top, yeah. Okay.
Let me start at the top.
Okay.
Because anything that needs to be released has to come down and out. Because my chest has just gone quite tight.
Right.
Coming up here.
So let me tell you what's happened here. Right, so what I'm seeing here is somebody who was shot on the right side of the upper chest. God, do you hear that bang?
Yeah, that was like a shot. Let me just recreate the shell, shall we?
I should have warned you. I knew you can take it. Yeah, okay. So, whew. So there was this gunshot to the, not the, where the heart is on the left, it's on the right side. Instant death anyway. Right, let's just see what's happened. Where was this person shot? What was this about? Oh, well, the picture I'm getting is that this was somebody was shot either on the land or coming up the road. Somebody was shot from here. It doesn't feel about the war. It feels more like there was some sort of conflict that was covered up. Yeah, okay. So two things. So the person that did the shooting and the guy that was killed are both still here. They're both lost in time in this moment for different reasons, but they're connected. They knew each other, these two men. It was a long-standing feud, and this is how it ended. And they're both stuck in an emotional, weird kind of bond here. Now, how is that affecting Liz and this house? Okay, it's because there's this unrest, Liz. It's because it hasn't been resolved. They're both still stuck here. So I'm going to have to ask what needs to happen here for this to be resolved. Okay, so the guy who was killed is saying to me, I was coming to get me, but he got me first. And the other guy who did the shooting was smiling. I can see him with his gun. There was a kind of instant smile, and then it hit him what he'd actually done. And yeah, just a huge amount of regret and sadness, because actually he did care about this person, and this is where they've got stuck, that this thing got out of hand. And what he's showing me is this sense of regret and then self-neglect that went on, self-hatred, actually deeper than that, what you've experienced here, this sense of guilt, but also shrinking. He's showing me this shrinking and hiding, and I think that's also what's probably been affecting you, is coming into this house and feeling you've got to shrink and you've got to hide and got to be small somehow, even though that's not your regret. You didn't do anything wrong, because this guy did something wrong to somebody that he cared about and he couldn't really come to terms with it. There's also that layer of coming to terms with things, or trying to come to terms with things that you don't even understand because they're not yours. Does that resonate at all?
Apparently, when he was losing it a bit, this might be connected. He used to stand on that terrace and shoot birds.
I was going to say I saw his gun. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was a load of empty shotgun cartridges that were left here in a big box.
Must have been him. It must have been him, and that must be the secret then. This was like somebody quite close to him, either a friend or a cousin, getting stronger sense on a cousin. It was, I get they were related, and I get there was some kind of thing about a woman that was involved in that. But I absolutely get that he became a sort of recluse, and I can see this sort of shrinking feeling from the world and putting up a barrier. And that was the best he could do. He wasn't an emotional person, so yeah, I saw his gun and his rifle kind of thing. And
it's a perfect sniper vantage point, that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's corroborated for you, right? The gun. And I felt that when you touched your body and you said where you've been feeling you couldn't breathe. And that was because the guy that was killed was wanting to be released. So I'm going to go into this. There's a trauma bond here between the two of them, where they're both stuck. Okay, I'm going to ask this to our teams, what needs to happen here. Okay, the guy who did the shooting wants to apologize to, I'm going to call him his cousin because that's the strongest feeling I get here. So he wants to apologize to his cousin. And he's saying to him, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I don't know what came over me. It wasn't me. And then now he's crying. Now he's crying because he's just like, how could I do that? I love you. How can I live with myself? I'm going on to the guy who was shot. And he's just stuck in shock, Liz. He's just lying there in absolute shock that this happened. It's literally like the wind taken out of him, which is where I think it connects with your breathing. It's showing me the so just breathe. Stopped in his tracks, and this scenario has been being relived in your house. I can see this guy pacing up and down, going up and down the stairs, trying to find some peace because he's so restless about what he's done. And that's caused an awful lot of restlessness in your house. And the neglect was the self-neglect to him, that he hated himself. He became his own worst enemy, he's telling me. He said, no one could hate me more than me, that I could ever do something like that. How can I ever accept myself again? And even down to food, not wanting to even eat, really. He's just wanting to shrink. And the other guy's in this state of shock. He can't even speak to me. He's in so much shock. He's just literally been stuck there. So that's what we've got here. What needs to happen for this to be resolved? He's asked for forgiveness, right? Let's just see. And he's just saying, how can I forgive you? How can I forgive you? You took my life. Okay, so he's now going down the stairs, going down across to where the other guy is lying. He's just holding him now in his arms. His lifeless body. And he's telling him, we cannot stay here anymore. It's time for us to find a way to move on now. And the other guy is nodding, he's agreeing, in spirit is agreeing, yeah. It's time to move on. And looking at us, actually, there's a sense of us being thanked for doing this for them. And relief that they've got here, that they've been seen. To say, oh, it was too much. It's too much. Trying to come to terms with this was just too much for me. And they're now together. He's holding this body and with quite a lot of love and telling the guy he loves him. And the guy's softening. His body's softening. And he's starting to feel that love. Oh, and your house just breathed this sigh of relief. It was just like suddenly, oh, no, they've gone.
Yeah.
Wow. That whole scene was just being replayed and replayed. Where do we need to go next? We need to go into where your office is.
Okay.
This is very interesting. So here, what I'm being shown here, you're being watched. You're being watched. They're almost like waiting to see what you're going to do next. It's very strange. Very strange. There's a lot of music in this room.
Yeah.
I can hear this music, and I can see people watching you.
But who are they? This is one of the rooms where there's shadows sometimes, like moving shadows, like somebody's here, but there
Yeah.
isn't.
But there is. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what you're telling me.
What I'm actually telling you is you're right.
Yeah.
I can corroborate that for you because everything I see is new. I haven't seen anything like this before. So there's the music and there's these beings here and they're watching you. Now, why are they watching you? They're part of your inner circle. They're kind of neutral. There's certainly a lot of life in here, or life that's wanting to come in, if you like.
Yeah, because this room was very dank and drab and neglected, and the spirit had gone out of it.
Right, it's almost like there's a sense of waiting in the wings, and they're pointing to you. What they seem to be saying to me is that she's waiting in the wings. That's what they're saying. She's waiting in the wings.
Which makes sense.
She's been waiting in the wings for a long time, and we're waiting for her to what? Well, it definitely suggests they want you to dance. That's a kind of invitation there.
Dance.
I guess that would mean be creative anyway. Let's go into what's causing this cold and this dank and over time of life, like weariness and life and burdensome stuff that's in this room. There's a lot of burden, which again you might have picked up on, you might not have, I don't know, but it's a sort of heaviness.
It's like they have been gathering around me real close, but they're sort of drifting off,
Yeah.
saying not goodbye, but au revoir. But they're like stroking down my back, like I'm wearing some kind of backless dress. They're just stroking me either side. It's like they're coming around and off, and they just keep coming. There's been a lot of people in this room.
Just invite them to dance off now. Just like
Yeah.
enjoy, listen to this music and dance away. This is now Liz's space. This is now about the present and the future. And this is a place of laughter and love. Just see them gently dancing their way out. Back to the light, up to the light. Leave these emotional imprints. How's that feeling?
Yeah, it feels lighter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're drifting out what used to be the door, which is now a window, and they're waving.
Okay, good. Just let's continue letting them go. There's a lot of them, as you say. Yeah, just feeling like they were all lining up, waiting to be released. We're just like,
Yeah, and I can feel them like stroking my back and they're coming by me and then going out that way.
yeah, I think it's like they're not just from this house. I feel like because we're doing this work, they've all been drawn in from around about, and now they feel like this light has come in and they're sort of watching and almost waiting for permission. But just hundreds of them, we just let them keep going to the light. That's fine. All of them. Just keep going. Dance your way off to the light. It's your time. This is a big, big service for this area. Yeah, there's lots of children going. There's people working on the land who are very attached to the land who wanted to go. And there's even animals are all going. So you're now going to put this energetic structure around your home. There's this golden structure around your home and your land. Feeling, protecting, creating this sacred space for you to live in that is clear and free. Any imprints from the past, any psychic activity. Oh, the horse has come in.
Ah,
Stamping his foot. He's on the land, stamping his foot. A little bit of impatience there. What's wrong with you? He wants to be acknowledged and known.
yeah, everybody talks about it. I know other people must have had horses.
Mm.
It's like they talk about it. Everybody talks about this one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he came in then. And I
Yeah.
wonder, interesting why he came in when all those beings were going. I've got this feeling about him that he's got a kind of mythical side to him. Like people kind of sensed that there was something about him, otherworldly, and yeah, he sort of made his mark. Yeah, definitely. Okay. I feel he's here to help you. I don't feel he needs to go anywhere. It's a very mythical beast that somehow belongs here. You might have to make space for him.
Hmm. Like he's a guardian
Yeah, like
or a guide.
it's definitely not like the other stuff that had to go. He's just standing there and I'm feeling the strength and I'm thinking, yeah, maybe he wants you to know he's here.
Hmm.
And he is like a guide. More than that, he's telling me you have a special connection with horses. And he's part of your special connection with horses. Yeah. Anyway, he's definitely here for you now.
Okay.
So you could start talking to him. You can
Hmm.
um you said that's good. You said straight away, so that's good. Yeah, okay. So you can start talking to him and just being aware of him and see how you can work. He can help you and how he can work with you because a guardian on your land and he belongs here. He definitely belongs here. So that's good. Yeah. Okay. Right. Now what's happening is I'm being shown these parts of the house that have been changed and where you've knocked the walls through, and the house is saying to me, she didn't ask permission. She didn't ask us if that was okay. She just did all this stuff to us. Right, I'm just going to talk to the house now. Right, I'm still talking to the spirit of this house and these alterations and renovations and everything that Liz has done since she's come here. She's done in the spirit of love, in the spirit of wanting to make you beautiful, wanting to restore you, wanting to live within you and share because you called her here. That's this new life coming in, not to be resisted, but to be embraced. I want you to embrace this new life that Liz is bringing here as your guardian. I want you to trust her in the decisions good that she's making. Trust feels very important here, Liz. And I said that really resonated here. There's kind of just some acceptance that needs to go on. And a request here, which is to be aware that this is like a a living being, to treat it like they're asking you, saying, treat us like a living being. Ask our permission. Very happy to let you do things. Just ask our permission, talk to us, and tell us what you're doing. Yeah? Does that make sense to you? Is that okay? Could you do that?
I can do that. I can walk through and ask the permission. I would ask permission to continue with this. See where I've made it more beautiful? I need you to let the guys in to carry on.
Yeah, absolutely.
They need to come, the one on the land and the main one in the house.
Yeah, I'm just going to let go of any resistance that's still here in the house or from people before. Just let go of any resistance. And I get that's really affected you badly, is the resistance, the reluctance here. That's part of why it was difficult to buy in the first place, because of all this residual resistance and reluctance. We're just going to clear all of that fog of resistance, reluctance. And what goes right back to the root cause of that. And I can see a few instances of where people haven't wanted to leave. And I don't know whether that also connects with that girl that was pushed out, but people not wanting to leave and staying there, really reluctant, resistant, and sometimes being forced to leave. Yeah, it's funny in that way, that those stories that are there. And maybe that's something that's affected your work as well, this sort of resistance, this reluctance feeling. But there's definitely a lot of resonance of that in the emotional imprints there. That resistance, holding back, tension, and deviation, distraction, deviation. There's a lot of that energy as well.
Yeah.
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 Like this sparking going off in lots of different directions. And it hasn't felt connected as a whole energetic structure as it is now. So I'm just going to ask it to let go and speak to the spirit of the house to let go of how you were before or how you wanted to be, how you intended to be, and just be whole and complete. Move into that sense of whole completeness exactly as you are now. It's like that bit and that bit and that bit, and it doesn't flow together. It hasn't got in that sense of being a wholeness. Does that make sense to you?
It's what I've been trying to do. It's 2 stairs here, 2 stairs up, 2 stairs down, quirky little
It's
things.
quirky. It's very quirky how it's
Evolved.
how it's been built and how it's evolved into that bit there. That, I mean, it's showing itself energetically. That bit there, that bit there, but that bit there. So I'm just going to keep doing some work on bringing it into a wholeness as one energetic structure that completely flows together and is complete. You feeling?
Yeah. Very deep.
Stay with it. Stay with the energy. It's got more to unfold for you. It's got, I mean, now, but just ongoing. Just let this unfold. The next few days, it's just got a lot more to open up within you for all of this.
Yeah, that is fine.
Yeah. If it feels good to you, I want to invite you to go outside again and stand outside the house, and I want you to embrace it as yours, as the custodian of it, and come in like for the first time, completely connected with it, being the custodian, like it's yours and your world. However it feels to you, I want you to come in now. It's clear and it's free, and all these beautiful things have come in. Own it as yours, that you belong here. Whatever you need to do. just want you to do your own little ritual.
I walked up the road and came by like I was seeing it for the first time. It's like the house is breathing now. It's like it's been holding its breath, breathing. It feels calmer. So it's all that energy. Those people that were hanging around, they've all gone. This room definitely feels clearer. Not so much like it's grabbing at me. This now feels like now it's really mine, that it wasn't actually a dream. My heart is creaking open. It's got to open, and my voice has to open again. Look at this redness here in my eyes and my ears. Everything can come back to life now. It's like, okay, I have permission to be here now. I have permission to bring the life back, to bring the people back, to bring the music back.